Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fast Charging with BnB. I am Bear, and that is,
I'm Brian.
and we have the next episode of Who is Doomed, and we are going to take a deep dive into Ford. Maybe not that deep, because we don't want to bore you. So, you ready, Brian? Let's do it.
I'm absolutely ready. We've got three different vehicles that are already available. The Mach-E starting at $46,000 if you can find a dealer willing to sell it to you. The F-150 starting at $60,000 except you can't order one and nobody will sell it to you for that price. And the E-Transit starting at $50,000. I don't know how realistic that price is, but it doesn't seem crazy. What do you think of the lineup?
I think it's a good start. I'm not even sure what's coming next, though. Uh, what is coming next? I know that they've got a redesigned all new F-150 in the works, but there's no timeline on it. So, have you heard what's next?
I haven't. And that's a little surprising, but I guess focus on what you're good at and what you know. What do you think of the engineering of their vehicles, of their EVs?
Okay. Well, I've been in some F-150 Lightnings and slightly unimpressed with new technology. It is an F-150. You would, if you're ever in an F-150 and you went into a Lightning, you'd be like, yeah, this kind of looks the same. There are a few things different on the screens. That's about it. That's not super impressive. The Mustang Mach-E, I like it. I've got one, so I do have good knowledge of it. I do like the car. And I have a base model, the Select, I think it's called. So not super fast. It's not loaded with options, but I still got a decent amount of options for the base level that I ordered it at. So I do like it. So I would give it a thumbs up if we were doing up and down thumbs. But since I have to give it a number, I'm gonna take off some for the F-150, but I'm gonna add some back for the Mach-E, and I'm just gonna keep it at a 6 for right now.
Oh, wow. So I am the F-150. I am not super impressed with because it's just basically a gas truck that they put an EV drivetrain into. It ends up very heavy without adding a lot of the capability. But I'm going to bump the score up from there because of the Mach-E. Now, when Sandy did his teardown a year ago, his opinion was that they were in second place with their design and that they were a distant second behind Tesla, but they were still well ahead of everyone else at the time. Now, other companies have gotten better, but I think I'm going to give them, because they are doing the right things, they're making the right components, they're getting it all together. I'm giving them an 8.
Well,
Very generous, I know.
they do have a nice frunk in both those vehicles, and the charging setup on the Mach-E, I can't say for the Lightning because I've never used one, but the charging setup as far as scheduling charging, which is a big deal to someone like me, is number one right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing else comes close to it. Tesla's schedule charging sucks. Hyundai's sucks. Polestars sucks. They all suck. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Mach-E it's actually perfect. It's dead on perfect. It does it exactly the way you would want it to do.
So let's talk about demand for the products. And we can only speak to these three because that's what they have. I'm going to say the Lightning, huge demand. The Mach-E, it's the most popular shaped vehicle. It's the form factor everyone wants these days. And the E-Transit is, again, huge demand segment. I'm very impressed with the demand on all three of those. What do you think?
Oh, I agree with most of that. The F-150, I think the demand might be a little bit better if they could lower that price just a tad bit. And if, like all dealers are having trouble selling these vehicles at the sticker price, there are dealers that are just, there was at a point where there was one dealer selling it for 100%, wasn't it, of the sticker price?
Yeah.
100% over.
Right.
And
Or trying
said,
to.
Trying to. They said it was a mistake. They just put the MSRP in the wrong place twice. But
Believable.
yes, but they are still selling these trucks over sticker, as I have checked as recently as this past week. They 10,000 over.
So, demand, what do you give them on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, 8, double 8s again.
Oh, was that yours? Oh, I should have said 7.5.
We don't do decimals here.
Oh.
So let's talk about their cost control. Ford Motors disclosed Thursday its electric vehicle unit lost $2 billion in 2022 and could lose as much as $3 billion in 2023. And they're hoping to get it profitable. Let me see if that's the next one. No, that's cash on hand. And they're hoping to get profitable by the end of 2026. That's their plan. So cost controls, I'm not giving them a very high score. And especially with Tesla recently cutting prices on the Model Y again, that goes head to head with the Mach-E. I think it's going to create an unwinnable price war that's going to, in the next 3 years, absolutely cause them problems.
It really is. Hopefully if Ford can make the Model E program work and start selling these cars directly to consumers, I think that's going to help them a lot. They can actually charge probably a little bit more, retain some of those profits that the dealerships are getting and not deserving because they ain't doing crap for it. So that would be a good thing for them. Plus the franchise fees and all the other crap that they have to pay for these dealerships, or that are tied to it. They can kind of wash their hands of that a little bit. Hopefully that will be the model going forward in the future and cut some costs there. So
for cost controls, I gave them a 4. What are you thinking?
I think that's a little on the high side.
Wow.
I'm going to go with the 2.
Ooh, that's firm but fair.
Yeah, they got 2 for $2 billion in losses, $3 billion this year. Mm-hmm. But maybe that can all be washed away if they have a lot of cash on hand.
Aha, $44 billion at the end of 2022, which was $5 billion less than the year before. We can see where the money went. But $44 billion is their cash on hand.
It's a lot of cash.
It is a lot of cash. I'm going to give them high marks for that. I'm going to say 9 on the cash. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to give them a 9 for all that cheddar.
They do have cheddar. Ford targets 50%. So what does that put us on roadmap? Ford targets 50% EV sales by 2030. Might be a little bit ambitious, but they are targeting, on the next link, 100% electric in Europe by 2030.
So it's just them damn Americans want their gas power cars.
There are those people. And they will come around, but it's going to take a little while.
Well, what Ford is very big into is diesel. They've got some very super powerful F-350s and higher that is used in the trucking industry. So for the F-450, the F-450s tow a little bit, just a little bit more. Yeah, they're very, very, very similar to the 350s, but once you get into the 550s and the 650s, those are commercial trucks used for a lot of deliveries and hauling, mostly local stuff, not over the road type stuff. That kind of thing could easily get replaced by electrification, by other companies coming out with short range trucks. So they may be forced to accelerate some of these things. As I just don't see that. I know they have a goal of 50%, but I think the demand is going to be over 50%. So if they don't come out with products, and these diesel trucks, these F-250s and 350s that are diesel, are mainly used for towing, and EVs aren't there yet. So That would be the reason I think that Ford is only at 50%, is because they don't know how to replace those vehicles with something electric right now.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. So I'm giving them for the roadmap, I'm saying 5.
I got to go with 4 because I just don't see what they're showing us. Just saying 50% of annual sales with what? It can't be just the Mach-E, the Lightning, and the Transit. Where are these other vehicles? Where are they going to be?
Yeah, where are they going to be?
Are they Edge, Escape, Explorer, Expedition? When are they? When are these vehicles going to get electrified? Are you just going to add on electric pack or a battery pack and the motors, or are we going to have full-on replacements?
It is a fine question, and I don't believe they know the answer. It's unfortunate that so much of what they do is they made their shift to big, heavy, expensive vehicles on purpose, on absolutely purpose, and it's going to come back to bite them in the butt in the next couple years. The saving grace is that mountain of cash on hand that we both gave 9s to. So we have a new high score leader, Ford, with 63 out of 100, coming in 3 spots above Hyundai and 6 points above Rivian. So not too shabby. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good assessment. It'll be interesting to see what vehicles they do choose to come out with. If they could make a little Fiesta hot hatch, that would potentially be very popular. It would be good in Europe. I'll be curious to see if we see more of the European models make it back to the US instead of trying to do it the other way around. But I think it's all quite possible. What do you think on that?
I do too. I do know that Ford does have a lot of battery plants under construction, a couple of battery plants, and I think that's going to help them out. If they can't make a car, maybe they'll sell the batteries to somebody else.
I think that's not a bad idea. It's a joint venture with SK Innovations. That might be able to save them a bit. I think any manufacturer who is not already aggressively in partnerships with battery manufacturers is not long for this world.
Si, senor.
All right, so I've got them all in order here. Okay, we should probably
Our Patreons.
Go ahead and do that, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
This episode we did much better on time. We didn't run super long because we're trying to get our work done. Thanks to my patrons, we get early access, bonus content, and ad-free experience in many cases. Keep the lights on. That's the most important part because YouTube is not super generous with the ad spends.
Yeah, so he said ditto.
Ditto. And that's how it works. Okay, well, we've got a couple more of these. What do we got? 2 more. Do you want to tease them for next time? For next next week? What do we got?
We're going with the Mary Barra.
Yeah.
Mary Barra.
Yeah, the real the real leader.
Yeah, and I'm going to be super harsh.
Yeah. Well, makes sense to me. All right. See you guys next week.